Hey, this is SJ Talks in Life. I'm gonna play this clip right quick, and then I'll come back with my commentary. This is deep to black women. I would definitely want black women to listen to this. This is deep.
These days. For some of us, yes. For others, I guess not, girl. But here's what I will tell you. I was thinking about doing a video about this, but I think it's very important. And it's one of the reasons why I'm a dating coach for women of color, specifically black women. You have to understand that, black women, your sex is very expensive.
Mm, that's
It's
deep.
very costly.
That's deep.
Do you understand that 60% of these black men are not wearing condoms? Do you understand that many of these black men are DL? Do you understand that many of
Mm,
these men who go into jail at a 20% STI rate come out of jail at an 80% STI rate?
mm,
And that when you sleep with someone, you're sleeping with everybody in the community.
mm. That's deep.
Black women represent more than 50% of all HIV cases among women.
Mm, that's deep.
Do you understand how dangerous it is for a black woman to actually have a baby?
I didn't know that.
What did they say? The maternal mortality rate is 70 out of 100,000, I believe.
Mm,
That is the same as 3.5 years in the field as a police officer. That is the same as 7 years as a firefighter.
mm.
That is the same as 13 years as a construction worker. That is the same as 53 years in the military on deployment. You want
That's
to go to
deep.
war for these men to have this baby?
Mm,
Clock it.
mm.
Your sex is expensive.
That's deep.
It's costly.
It's expensive.
It's deadly.
Mm, no.
So, when I say things like don't have sex until you're in an exclusive relationship, I fucking mean it.
Okay.
When I say don't have a baby with a man until you've been married to him for at least 2 years,
Mm-hmm.
I mean it.
Okay. Preach. Preach.
Trust that.
Mm-hmm.
Someone said, please make a video about this. I guess I will, honey.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm saying this out of passion. I want y'all to be safe.
They need to put this on a billboard.
Yeah, I said 2 years because do you know how, girl, most black marriages are getting divorced within the first 2 years.
Mm, that's deep.
Girl, your sex is expensive.
Expensive. Mm-hmm.
These men are just trying to get it in. And I will tell you something that maybe you may or may not understand. Let me know. Most men will have sex because they're stressed. Do you know how stressed black men are?
Mm.
They're the most stressed out of everybody.
No, no, we're the most stressed.
So they're having sex all the time to de stress.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas many women actually, if they're stressed, they don't want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? So Girl, your sex is expensive.
That's deep.
It's worth $1 million.
$1 million. You hear that, sisters?
Right? Think about that. So when you have sex with a guy, because here's the thing, if you were going to put insurance out on yourself, it would be $1 million. So I want you to ask yourself, do I want to give this guy $1 million right now?
Mm-hmm. Nope, I don't. I want to give him a dime.
Like, do I?
Nope. Absolutely not.
If not, what are we doing?
Okay, preach. Yeah, that did you ladies hear that? That's deep. That's deep. That's why I like this guy. He's a hold on. His channel is called Dating Coach. Let's see. I'm trying to get back in focus. Dating Coach Anwar. That's his name. I highly recommend that sisters watch him. He really gives some really, really, really good advice to black women. I highly recommend that you watch his channel. His videos are not very long; they're real short. But he's a dating coach, and he specifically targets black are centered on black women because um, um, well, there's a lot of valuable information that black women need to know, and this man is very wise, and he really really gives black women a lot of nuggets. And what he just said in this video, sisters, is deep. It's deep. That's that. I was just scrolling through trying to find some jazz channels because I'm trying to relax, and this popped up. Um, um, our sex is expensive, and this is why I'm always preaching abstinence, and highly encouraging women to abstain on my channel. This is the reason why I'm always encouraging that. I'm always talking about that. Um, because especially for black women, because if you haven't got a chance to check out my video where I'm talking about um, women need to have a zero tolerance on cheating, just like men do. Like men have a zero tolerance on cheating, and women need to have. In that video, I'm talking about black women's I'm giving a very important reason as to why black women should have a zero tolerance on cheating is because of the fact that our HIV rates are high. He just confirmed what I said. He said they're over 50% for black women. Of all women in the United States, black women have the highest HIV rates. That is serious, ladies. That is serious, black women. That is very serious. And this is why I stressed that in that video. See, I don't have time to come on here and gossip day in and day out like some of these other people do. This is serious. Are dying. Black women are dying at high rates because they're dating. And what I didn't mention in that video was, and I actually thought about that after I did it, was DL. That's what I didn't mention. And so I'm glad that he talked about it here in this video. Um, a lot of black men are on the DL. They're sleeping with men. They're having affairs with men, and the DL rate in the black community is very high. I don't know if they have exact stats on it, but it's very very high. The DL rate in the black community is extremely high, ladies, and that's what I didn't mention in that video. But a lot of these black men are on the DL, and I've heard so many cases of black women being married and the husband going and sleeping with another man and coming back home and giving her HPV or HIV. Okay, and so it is very very serious. You heard what he said. the HIV rate is over 50% with black women. Um, that's deep. Our sex is expensive, and he is 100% right. It is expensive, ladies. This is why I stress abstinence on my channel. That's one of the reasons why I made the decision to start abstaining 20 years ago. It's been 20 years for me. Um, and this is the reason why I made the decision. One of the reasons why I made the decision to abstain. Okay. And I highly encourage black women to abstain until marriage. Wait until you have a suitable marriage rate to have relations. Because like he said, it is very, very detrimental for black women. Black women are dying at high rates, and in and this is a good question. You date while you're celibate, and he said, you heard what he said. Some cases yes, some cases no. Um, I thought about the possibility of dating, but then I changed my mind because the problem is a lot of these guys do want to have sex, and I don't want to be under that kind of pressure, and so I made a decision to not date. Um, and because I'm very, very serious about that. I'm very, very serious, and I'm very dedicated my life to God, and yeah, and I believe it's the best decision that I ever made in my life. It is the best decision that I ever made in my life, and so and I read in a lot of blogs that there are more and more black women that are making the decision to abstain, and I'm glad to hear that. But more black women need to make the decision to abstain. And he's talking about the pregnancy. I think had I known that, I don't know if I had my. It's a good thing I didn't know that when I was having my sons. Let's put it that way. Um, Me being a worry wart, I am. Yeah. Ooh, it's a good thing I didn't know that back then. But yeah, the um it's very, very, very risky for black women to have children now because there's a lot of discrimination in the healthcare system, and you know the infant mortality rate is high in the black community. All that black women have more of a chance of dying during childbirth. That's deep. That's deep because they ignore black women. It happened to Serena Williams, the tennis player, when she get to give birth. This is a very famous black woman. When she went to give birth to her first child, her first daughter, um, she had a blood clot issues. She was trying to tell the doctor, and they were ignoring her. And it was a good thing that her husband stepped up and he advocated for her. Just imagine if she wouldn't be here. Just imagine if he didn't advocate. Her husband stepped up and advocated. Just imagine if her husband didn't step up and advocate for her. She wouldn't be here. She was trying to tell them, and they were ignoring her. There's something was wrong, and they were ignoring her. Okay, and she is a famous black woman. So just imagine your average black woman. Okay, this happening to the average black woman. Okay, so this is very deep, sisters, and I agree with him 100% when he says wait for 2 years after you get married to consider having a baby. I agree with that. Um, I do agree with that one, and it's definitely something to think about, sisters. This is deep. Our sex is very expensive. Like he said, would you drop $1 million to somebody? Would you drop $1 million to a man? I said, mm-mm. You ain't getting a dime out of me. You ain't getting a dime out of me. So that's something to think about, sisters. This is deep. I like this. I love this guy. He always gives black women good nuggets. He always gives black women very good advice. Yeah. And just do it God's way. Do it God's way. If we walk in obedience, scripture in the Bible, if I find it, I might put it in the description box. If you will only obey my commands, your peace will flow like a river. So see, that's what I'm saying. We So the reason why we have a lot of problems is because we're disobedient to God. It's due to disobedience to God is the reason why we're having a lot of problems. And so we're being more obedient. Like all these years that I've been abstaining, I haven't had to worry about getting an STD, um, not even lots of yeast infections. You know, when I was sexually active, I was getting tons of yeast infections. Ever since I've been abstaining, I haven't even hardly had, I think I've had two of them in 20 years, you know. But when I was sexually active, I was getting them all the time. And that's because you're what they call that? You're oh, what do they call that? I'm drawing a blank right now. Um um your what you call it is off in your vagina. Is the reason why you're catching you're getting yeast infections and all this kind of stuff. I can't think of it right now. Put it in that comment section, ladies. But but yeah, um ever since I've been abstaining, I haven't had to worry about no infections. I haven't had to worry about any STDs or anything like that. No unplanned pregnancies because I was in my mid 30s when I started abstaining. You know, of course, I had my tube side, but still, it's just the principle of the thing. I didn't have to worry about no any unplanned pregnancies, S, STIs or STDs or anything. I didn't have to worry about any of those things. I don't have to worry about none of those things. My peace is flowing like a river in that area. Okay, I don't have to worry about any of those things, and so that's why I always highly recommend that black women, all women, but especially black women, abstain till marriage because it's vital. It's I mean you heard what this man said. It's vital. It is vital for black women because black women are dying, and that's the reason why I said that in that video where I'm talking about black women need to have a zero tolerance for cheating. That's why I stressed that in that video because black women's HIV rates are through the roof, are through the roof, and that's serious, and that is very, 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 very serious. And we are dying at much higher rates than other races of women because, like he said, there is a lot of black men on the DL. Nobody's bashing. Nobody's bashing. It's reality. I don't know why people don't want black women to get this information. It's not bashing. It's reality. We got to keep it real. We got to keep it 100. It's this is what's really happening. This is real. And a lot of black women are at risk because they're involved. A lot of these black men are sexually promiscuous, and they're coming back and bringing diseases and stuff like that. And so that is something is serious. And this is why, yes, I do think that black women should have a zero tolerance. All women, but especially black women, need to have a zero tolerance on cheating because you got to put your health first, especially if you have children. You want to be here, and that's another reason. You know that also I also factored that into my decision to becoming celibate because I thought about my two boys. You know, I was thinking about my two boys at the time. I'm like, I don't want to leave my two boys. I don't want to catch a fatal disease, you know, as HIV and or something like that, and then and then be gone in 10 years. I didn't want to leave my boys, so a lot of things factored into that decision. It's the best decision I ever made, and I highly recommend that other black women follow suit. And there are more and more black women that are abstaining, and so that's excellent. And yes, black women we need to learn our worth. We need to learn our worth, and we need to set boundaries and set standards. Don't let nobody tell you that well you've already had sex, so don't listen to that garbage. Just garbage. Don't listen to none of that garbage. Um, we need to learn our worth, and we need to lock it down until the suitable mate comes along. Me, I'm locking it. I'm in this thing for life. I plan on being in this thing for life. So that's what we need to do. We need to lock it down. Lock it down. You know, and we have to, black women have to be extra careful. Okay, hit me up in that comment section. This is such vital information, and that's why I had to talk about this. But hit me up in that comment section. Let me know what you guys think. pH. I just now thought about that word, pH. Our pH. You don't have to worry about your pH being off when you abstaining. When I was sexually active, my pH was always off all the time. Yeah, I couldn't think of it. I couldn't think of it. But yeah, hit me up in that comment section. Let me know what your thoughts are. Think about this, ladies. Spread the word. Hit that like, subscribe, and share. Please hit that like. Hit that like. That throws my algorithm, shoots that algorithm up. And share and notification bell. And until the next video, you guys be blessed.